Hey guys, this is Chris.
And it's Andre.
So something a little different here. I guess this would...
I have no idea what we're doing this episode.
Andre has no idea.
He just plopped this big pile of comic books in front of me.
My Uncle Wayne got me... He likes going to these auctions. You know, he's retired, he plays golf, he goes to these auctions, he gets great deals. He got me a stack of comic books. He got all these for $15.
Okay.
At an auction, a stack of these. I don't know what's in here. Andre is my go-to comic book guy. Okay, I trust
don't know
Andre.
What he has.
He's got a vast knowledge on everything comic, so we're just gonna go through this haul and you just tell me what is some of this stuff. I don't even know.
Okay. You know what? This is a friend of mine. This is Billy Tucci.
Oh.
He created this character, She.
Okay.
This is a collected edition, so it's not going to be worth as much.
Okay.
Because, I mean, the individual comics, when they came out, it's going to be worth more.
Mm-hmm.
That goes, just do collected editions for those who just want to read them. This is not made for, like, value.
This is nice artwork.
Billy is amazing.
Yeah.
I hope you watch it. Bill, we're going to put this on his wall.
Okay.
Billy, God, this takes me back to see all these old Crusade comics. She.
So are these from the 90s? How are we talking about here? Like what?
Yeah, these are definitely from the 90s.
Okay.
The earlier 90s. That's when She was big.
Okay.
The whole bad girl phase. You had
Gotcha.
like Chaos with the Lady Death.
Yes.
Vampirella was making this big comeback at the time,
Mm-hmm.
and She was coming in too. In fact, She was actually supposed to be a movie with Tia Carrere playing the lead role, but I don't know. There was like all this legality stuff that happened, and
too bad.
Yeah, the movie was never made,
that's a
and
shame.
we were really keeping tabs on this too, because again, Billy frequents many of the conventions. I love seeing him like all the time. We have so much in common. Good friend of mine.
That's cool.
I think everything I have of She is signed by him,
Nice.
or sketched on by him.
I mean, you can tell this was originally
yeah.
done in colored pencil. This one, and just
he does like a lot
nice.
with watercolors and stuff like that. Kind of like
That's
what a David Mack would do nowadays. But yeah, he was that way with David Mack.
Okay.
But yeah,
really
Billy
cool.
Tucci, She.
Nice.
Really good stuff. Check it out.
All right. So what is this?
Early Image comic stuff. This is Shadowhawk 2. Now, this is when the 90s of the gimmick foil stamp covers.
Foil stamp covers. All the variants were crazy in the 90s.
Exactly. So this is like the second series, and this was a big one because it actually revealed the identity of the Shadowhawk, because it's not like Batman, where you know Bruce Wayne is Batman from issue 1.
Okay.
No one else does. They never tell you who he is.
Really?
They make you try to figure it out. They put all these red herrings in the whole Shadowhawk first 4-issue series.
Okay.
And then the second one, they're going to tell you who it is, and then you find out who he is in this one.
Okay. Very cool.
There it is. Done by... I have mine signed by Jim Valentino, because it's his creation.
Well, what comic? This is Image comic.
Image.
Okay.
Yes.
Gotcha. So then we have a Dark Horse comic here.
Alright, Dark Horse Ghost.
Is this was the hot chick thing in the 90s again, or?
It is part of that. Kind of like the supernatural with the hot chicks and stuff. I really didn't read much of Ghost, but no, Adam Hughes had a lot to do with this, and his artwork is always amazing.
I've never heard of Maximum Press.
Maximum Press was another kind of like an offshoot that Rob Liefeld and his people did.
Okay.
I get to kind of get away from Image Comics, because that was kind of like... He was associated with that for so long. So, yeah. Evangeline was like one of the original creations that they went with that one. He also did like Awesome Entertainment and stuff like that. But yeah, Maximum, that was another one of his.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, it was like him and Dan Fraga and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Fortunately, this one's kind of beat up, but look, 1982.
Yeah, that's beat up. What you got here? Oh, New Teen Titans Annual #1. Is this a Perez? It's got to be a Perez. I'm sure... He did. Yep, there it is. Marv Wolfman and George Perez.
That's it. Another one of your buddies, George Perez.
Yeah, good friends with George Perez. It's kind of like a painted cover that he did here. And again, Perez's artwork is just so awesome.
One of the best.
I mean, he's totally Silver Age, but God, it just stands up to today.
It really does. And every time he sees you, George Perez, he's like, "Hey, Andre."
He gives me a hug.
He remembers Andre. George Perez knows Andre.
I'm either that nice of a guy, or I'm just that annoying where they just, it's Andre again. You know, one of the two.
No, I think they love you. This,
what else we got?
This is still in the original shrink wrap.
Oh, yeah. Actually,
what's up with this?
Well, you got it bagged, but it's actually polybagged. A lot of times they would polybag things for a couple of reasons. Sometimes they do would pack in like a trading card or something like that. Okay. Sometimes there's mature content in there.
Oh.
Where there's some nudity or some very graphic killing or something like that. And back then you had to polybag.
So the kids couldn't get their little innocent
eyes
on it.
Nowadays, almost every comic is not approved by the Comics Code, so you can put all the mature content you want. want.
Do whatever you want.
So the polybagging is just for collectible sake, but this is probably...
Mike Danger. I've never even heard of this. I mean, I've got several of these in this pile
These
here.
Techno-comics, all these we talking about Techno-comics,
Yeah.
they really didn't go anywhere.
They didn't?
Yeah, I didn't really buy into it either, but...
Huh, interesting. I don't know. This
okay, here's another gimmick of the 90s.
Yeah.
This is called an ash can comic.
That's right.
Ash cans were actually like little, smaller sized comic books that the retailer would get to kind of preview it. They can like look at the first 5 or 6 pages of a comic, read it, saying, "Oh yeah, this is kind of cool. I think this would sell."
Kind of like a preview of what you would get.
And ash can, they would call it because you would take it, read it, and then the retailer would be like, "Okay, let's order this or let's not order this," and they'd throw it away.
Right.
But then people
wanted them. Right.
Wanted those.
Yeah.
They're like, "Oh, he's put in the trash can." And they would take it and be like, "Hey, I got the preview ash can edition of the Max #1."
So if it came out eventually and became a real comic,
yeah,
the original ash can, the sales pitch,
the big fans would want. I want the sales pitch of that comic book before it was on a shelf for me to buy.
That'd be worth something.
So,
literally, one man's trash is another man's treasure. Like
exactly.
you said, they would just throw these away. So then this was definitely a 90s trend. After the 90s, no ash cans.
No, they don't do that anymore. And I guess it became such a thing that Hero Illustrated and Wizard Magazine would make their own ash can editions and polybag it into the magazine with them.
But at that point, they're not even real ash cans.
Well, that's the
anymore.
thing. Now, it's just like a mini comic now.
Right.
But they wouldn't even call them ash cans.
Now, how can you tell the difference between a real ash can and
Now, a real ash can would be, one, black and white, all in the center.
Gotcha.
It's not colored or anything.
Right.
It wouldn't have this many logos. You would just see Lady Rawhide Top's comics, not like Supplement to Wizard Magazine with creator names.
There wouldn't be all that
fancy
copyright
cover.
stuff on there.
No, and there wouldn't be an ad for another comic book on the back either.
Right.
So, no.
Okay.
It would just be like a very plain Jane cover, no gimmicks on there at all, and a black and white 5-page comic book of what they're trying to sell.
That's it. Okay. So look at this. James
Bond
has a comic book. Did you know?
GoldenEye was one of my favorite James Bond movies, and this is actually... I have this signed by Brian Stelfreeze, who's best known for his Batman covers. He did the first 1,000 issues or so of Shadow of the Bat. I mean, he's just a painter of many, many Batman covers. He actually did this one too.
So this says 1 of 3. This is the first collector's issue.
It was a 3-issue series that adapted the GoldenEye movie.
Okay. Is that worth anything?
Not too much. No.
Okay. Well, interesting nonetheless if you're a Bond fan. Okay. This is very 90s looking. What is the story behind this?
Okay, we just went crazy with mutants in the 90s. X-Men, it was basically like when they did the Age of Apocalypse, different people became different characters. Like Wolverine had his hand cut off and just a cloth and stuff like that. Cable was remade into X-Man. But the X-Man comic was selling so much that when they put things back into regular continuity, they kept this character.
Wow.
So basically you had kind of like 2 Cables running around.
At the same time?
After they undid the Age of Apocalypse. Okay. There was a few people that existed from there.
Okay. But
this was one of the ones, was X-Man.
So we got X Factor here, enter Sabretooth. Again, this is 90s all over.
Yeah, again, more with that mutant stuff. Let's see who did this one. Okay, Howard Mackie, Jeff Matsuda. I mean, I wasn't really collecting X Factor unless it crossed over into things, and I guess that's when they just encountered Sabretooth. So, just a standard one.
It's not even a comic book, it's an actual magazine.
Yeah. Like things like Marvel Age and sometimes Previews magazine, they would just come up with just mostly a mini magazine, comic book size about comics, and that's what this was. So, little mini comics, previews, and stuff coming out like that. I didn't even talk about Star Trek in this one. So yeah, this is just random stuff in here. So yeah, Marvel Vision. Haven't seen one of these in a long time.
Now I remember all these crazy X-Men. You've got the Amazing X-Men.
Now see, these are the Age of Apocalypse comics.
These are 2 of the same here. The Astonishing X-Men. Uncanny X-Men.
Well, Uncanny was definitely in the regular continuity. Yeah. But the weird titles like Amazing and Astonishing X-Men, that was Age of Apocalypse stuff. They just had to differentiate the name from the core titles because they had to start over with number 1s. But again, it was undone after about maybe 4 months, and they went back to the regular ones. This is a major issue here. Okay. Marvel Universe, this is like the end of a major crossover, the Onslaught series. Now, Onslaught is basically out of the mind of Charles Xavier, it was like this evil that was within him that was going to be the entity that killed the X-Men.
Oh wow!
So finally, in the X-Men comics, Onslaught comes out from his subconscious, and just starts taking out the X-Men and then the rest of the Marvel Universe.
Damn.
So what's funny is right now we have Axis going on, because if you're into the comics now, the Red Skull has taken the brain of Charles Xavier, again far-fetched, and just kind of fed it into his brain. But the darkness of Onslaught is still there, and now the Red Skull has become Onslaught. So he's the Red Onslaught right now.
Pretty much
and
back
right
again.
now he's fighting the Avengers and the X-Men. So that's what's going on right now in Marvel Comics.
It's almost like history is repeating itself.
Yes.
So, again, and this is all 90s stuff too. X-Men Chronicles.
Again, this was X-Men Unlimited, just kind of redone for the Age of Apocalypse.
Okay. Here's another ash can, but not a real ash can.
Again, this was Malibu Comics, the God Wheel, which kind of symbolized the purchase of Malibu Comics into the Marvel Universe, because, spoiler alert, at the end of God Wheel, Thor shows up.
Oh.
Yes.
Another ash can, and you mentioned the Max earlier. There's a Max one.
Yeah.
I remember.
But again, these are
these are not real. Oh, and this actually says
there's an X-Men one.
It says ash can edition, so
yes.
you obviously.
So again, they're milking that name.
Yeah. But it is black and white.
But see, that's the thing, and that's what they looked like.
Mm-hmm. This is what a real one, I suppose, would
This
look
is
like.
actually not really previewing a certain comic. If you look at what you just flipped through, that was like certain scenes from past comics.
Oh, yeah.
It's basically just to get you,
there's X Factor,
It's
X-Men.
basically just to get you hooked on X-Men comics.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's
there's
not
all
trying to
different
sell
art.
you.
There's all different art in here, too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's still interesting.
Yeah.
what
Again,
the
another
hell
Marvel
is this?
Vision, another promo.
Okay. Look, it's got Worf on there.
Yeah, that
Isn't it
X-Men
Worf
Next
from
Generation
Star Trek?
crossover.
Crossover?
Trek. Yeah,
Wow.
I have it.
Generation Next, another X-Men, I guess, title?
Yep, you get another. This is actually Generation X, but in the Age of Apocalypse version. Same thing with Factor X and
Weapon X, I remember.
Man, you got a lot of the Age of Apocalypse stuff in this thing.
So is any of this stuff... Does any of this stuff from the 90s retain its value? Or is it like action figures where a lot of 90s stuff didn't really keep its
It's kind of
value?
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is sad because the 90s is all about quantity, not quality.
That's what it was.
I mean, it really, really...
I mean, we just made crazy variant covers of everything.
Mm-hmm.
You oversaturated the market with like all these mutant titles.
Mm-hmm. But still, the value of this is probably more than $15, right?
Definitely more than
Would you say
$15,
Uncle Wayne did a good job?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I'm just seeing if there's anything older in
hundreds
here.
of dollars or anything like
This
that.
looks a little bit older.
Not really. I mean, again, it's more 90s stuff. U.S. Agent Limited Series didn't really do much. Ooh, this is a Malcolm comic. This is when Marvel and DC actually combined universes.
Oh,
so this
wow.
is, Magnetic Man and Magneto. So
Cool.
yeah. So yeah, I have the entire run of the Amalgam comics.
Nice. And that's number 1.
Well, all of them were number 1s.
Oh, they all.
They didn't do a number 2 of anything.
Okay.
Everything was a one-shot deal.
Storm looks interesting on that.
Mm-hmm. This is actually a Wizard reprint
Okay.
of X-Men, Uncanny X-Men 320. Tell by the gold and then, of course, the Wizard logo.
Mm-hmm. Another fake ash can.
Yep.
Exclusive Wizard sketchbook. Was this like another promotional
Again, that's just
thing?
another, pack-in with the Wizard magazine.
Right.
It's just the artist showing you some of the rough pencils that they did before the
Okay.
comic was actually made.
There's Cable.
Yep. X-Man, more X-Man. Okay.
Your knowledge is vast, sir. That's why I wanted you to
I
go
guess
through
so.
this.
Okay. I had no idea what this pile was. This was... I wasn't prepared for any of this.
Nope.
I just went off what I remembered.
And that's why I wanted you to look through it, because I knew for a fact Andre knows his stuff. So I appreciate it. And thank you, Uncle Wayne, for the wonderful comics.
Yeah,
They're a lot of
good
fun.
job, Uncle Wayne.
So good find. So
Yeah, $15.
Yeah.
Good deal.
So if you guys like this kind of different episode of Nerdgasm where we're just kind of, it's kind of free form and we're just talking about comics. If you guys like this, let us know. We'll do more like
And
this.
if you guys know me, bring me your stack of comics and see what I say about them.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. Bring us your toys too. If you got
Yeah.
mystery figures, you don't know what they are, take some pictures of them. Or
Yeah.
if you see us at a convention, come up to us and be like, "What is this?" And,
Ask us.
we
might know.
we have a lot of useless knowledge of floating around in our heads, so we could probably help you out.
All right.
All right. Until next time, this is Chris.
And it's Andre.
Signing off for another episode of Nerdgasm.
Excelsior.